So most of the time when we think of a great athlete, we think of the high flyers, the fastest players with the crazy explosive first step. And of course, these are super athletic players. They have that raw athleticism that can just blow our mind sometimes. But basketball as a game requires a lot more than just this. It requires a lot more below that surface. And realistically, these qualities that I'm about to give you guys are a lot easier to build than the raw athleticism and explosiveness that a lot of people are just born with. I'm not saying we can't improve those things, but these ones are definitely a little bit easier and will probably help you even more if I'm being realistic. So I'm gonna give you guys 4 qualities that you can start to develop that will absolutely change your game and make you sneaky good athletes. If you wanna start developing these and the raw explosiveness, make sure to check out the Ultimate Athleticism program. Let's get to it. So number 1 is quickness off of the ground. We talk all the time about how high players get off the ground, but not as much how quickly they get off the ground. So maybe this player doesn't have the most balance, they don't have a 40-inch vertical, but they pop off the ground super quick. They're able to use that stretch shortening cycle and these smaller ranges of motion to pop up in the air. And if you think about 2 players, both jump the same height, but one gets off the ground quicker than the other, which one is gonna beat shot blockers to that backboard on a finish to make a layup? And so often we train this maximal jumping ability, but we forget that basketball is a super quick moving sport. It's constrained by time. So we gotta be able to get off the ground quick and train to do that. We have to keep in mind how much time we actually have to produce this force. So this comes down to a lot of things. Obviously, it's pretty complex, but it's mainly training that stretch shortening cycle. So again, being able to quickly pop off of the ground. Our jumping technique, keeping in mind that we don't have that much time. Because remember, this is a skill, jumping is a skill. Everything that we do on the court is a skill. So we gotta train this skill of getting off the ground quick. And this is also training the foot and ankle as well. Most times, if we only have a couple milliseconds to really get off the ground, a lot of what's gonna be responsible for that is that foot and ankle. Number 2 is dynamic stability. Basketball is a naturally chaotic game, right? We'll lose balance sometimes. We'll get bumped by bigger defenders at high speeds. We're gonna be in the midst of chaos sometimes. How are we gonna control that? Are we able to be stable in these super chaotic, dynamic situations? So in my opinion, this comes down to 2 main things. Number 1 is how do we not lose balance, right? So if we get bumped at a high speed, how do we stay on balance? And number 2, when we do get bumped off balance, because it is gonna happen, how do we regain that balance, that stability, and still make it work? And this is something I call the oh shit reflex. Right? You're about to fall, you're like, oh shit, but you're still able to kind of catch yourself, maintain the dribble, or still make a pass, or maybe make the shot, and work out of these kind of crazy off-balance situations. If you can get good at this, you're gonna be ready for anything, and your brain's naturally gonna be a lot more confident. It's gonna let you do more things, because you know that even if you kind of mess up, you can regain that stability, that balance, and keep going. So in terms of training this or being good at it, it comes down to a lot of things. For example, finding good foot placement to catch ourselves. Maybe the strength to work out of these lower positions. Core strength, right? To resist over translation of our trunk, being basketball strong to create and resist these bumps. And then obviously putting all these together in the situation of a real game, because just like jumping, this is a skill that we're gonna have to train. Number 3 is deceleration. We talk a lot about first step, but the other end of that spectrum, coming to a stop, is just as, if not more important. A basketball court is pretty damn small, especially to have 10 players on it once. So we're gonna have to stop a lot. We don't have all this space in the world. And being able to decelerate is also a space creator. Not just in terms of step backs and snatch backs, kind of the ones that we always think about, but also jumpers, creating space off ball. There are a lot of situations where if we stop, that can create space for us. And the thing here is that we mostly think of linear deceleration, right? We're going forward in a straight line and we stop ourselves. No, deceleration is very multi-directional. We need to be able to stop laterally, moving backwards, moving diagonally. And not only do we need to be able to decelerate multi-directionally, but we also got to be able to re-accelerate out of this. So once we come to a stop, that next move, we got to be able to get into that quickly. Plus, having this skill can help us protect the ball, protect ourselves, right? If we see a defender who we're about to run into, maybe injure ourselves or put ourselves in a dangerous position, if we're able to stop ourselves, we can have more longevity and be safer. And the last thing I'll mention here is that our brain won't let us get up to higher speeds if we know we can't decelerate from that. So if we have crazy horsepower, but we know our brakes suck, you're not gonna be able to get up to your top speed, especially on the court, because your brain is protecting you. So this comes down to a lot of things: getting strong in these low positions, getting powerful, getting in and out of these positions, timing up the ball with these movements, etc. And this is something that we really cover in the Ultimate Athleticism program. And then number 4 is fluidity and coordination. We all know the players who just move fluidly. It's hard to put a finger on it. And most times what this is moving efficiently. It's effortless, right? For every movement they do, they use less energy than us doing the same movement. So this helps in a lot of ways. Number 1, it conserves energy. If me making a crossover move just takes more energy out of me because I'm not as efficient with it. Over the course of the game, I'm going to get more tired. It's going to be tougher for me to do that. I'm not going to want to cross over as much. Whereas the super efficient athlete is going to be able to do that plenty of times, super efficiently, and never really feel a thing from it. Number two, because of this, there's more potential for high outputs. In other words, I could be producing the same amount of force as you, but if you're doing it efficiently and doing it in the right direction at the perfect time, and I'm just kind of mustering up this force with no regard for any of this, even if we put the same amount of force into the ground, you're going to move faster than me and you're going to jump higher than me because you do it more efficiently. And taking this a step further, this can help prevent injury as well. Again, the more coordinated we are, the more fluid we are, we're more efficient, but we're also able to work in weird positions better. And a lot of injuries happen from what? Weird positions. Plus, in terms of being a very coordinated athlete, you're able to pick up new movements quicker. You're able to add new moves, new skills, new techniques to the bag in a snap of a finger because you're simply just a more coordinated athlete. So not only are you going to move more efficiently here, you're going to be able to preserve your energy, you're going to prevent injuries or resist injuries, but you're also going to be able to pick up new movements quicker and look better doing all of this. So I'm truly confident that if you really devote time to developing these 4 qualities, you're going to see your entire game take off. Your shooting, your ball handling, your defense, your finishing at the rim. These physical qualities that we barely even think about, especially in comparison to vertical jump and speed, they're going to make such a big difference in your game, and I'm excited to see your results. As always, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to stay tuned with everything that we're doing right now. Link is in the description and the comments for that. And hopefully we can just continue chasing your potential as a hooper. Until next time.